In mathematics, a coefficient is a multiplicative factor in some term of a polynomial, a series or any expression. It is usually a number, but in any case does not involve any variables of the expression. For instance, in the first two terms respectively have the coefficients 7 and 3. The third term 1.5 is a constant. The final term does not have any explicitly written coefficient, but is considered to have coefficient 1, since multiplying by that factor would not change the term. Often coefficients are numbers as in this example, although they could be parameters of the problem, as a, b, and c, where c is a constant, in. When it is understood that these are not considered as variables. Thus a polynomial in one variable x can be written as for some integer, where are coefficients. To allow this kind of expression in all cases one must allow introducing terms with 0 as coefficient. For the largest with, is called the leading coefficient of the polynomial. So for example the leading coefficient of the polynomial is 4. Specific coefficients arise in mathematical identities, such as the binomial theorem which involves binomial coefficients. These particular coefficients are tabulated in Pascal's triangle. Linear algebra. In linear algebra, the leading coefficient of a row in a matrix is the first non-zero entry in that row. So, for example, given the leading coefficient of the first row is 1. 2 is the leading coefficient of the second row. 4 is the leading coefficient of the third row, and the last row does not have a leading coefficient. Though coefficients are frequently viewed as constants in elementary algebra, they can be variables more generally. For example, the coordinates of a vector in a vector space with basis are the coefficients of the basis vectors in the expression. Examples of physical coefficients: coefficient of thermal expansion relates the change in temperature to the change in a material's dimensions. Partition coefficient, the ratio of concentrations of a compound in two phases of a mixture of two immiscible solvents at equilibrium. H2O is a coefficient. Hall coefficient relates a magnetic field applied to an element at the voltage created, the amount of current and the element thickness. It is a characteristic of the material from which the conductor is made. Lift coefficient relates the lift generated by an airfoil with the dynamic pressure of the fluid flow around the airfoil, and the planform area of the airfoil. Ballistic coefficient, a measure of a body's ability to overcome R resistance in flight. BC is a function of mass, diameter, and drag coefficient. Transmission coefficient represents the probability flux of a transmitted wave relative to that of an incident wave. It is often used to describe the probability of a particle tunneling through a barrier. Damping factor aka viscous damping coefficient relates a damping force with the velocity of the object whose motion is being damped. A coefficient is a number placed in front of a term in a chemical equation to indicate how many molecules take part in the reaction. For example, in the formula, the number 2's in front of and are stoichiometric coefficients. See also, degree of a polynomial, monic polynomial, references, Sabah Al-Haddad and C. H. Scott College Algebra with Applications, page 42, Winthrop Publishers, Cambridge, Massachusetts ISBN 0-87626-140-3. Gordon Fuller, Walter L. Wilson, Henry C. Miller, College Algebra, 5th edition, page 24, Brooks Cole Publishing, Monterey, California ISBN 0-534-01138-1. Stephen Schwartzman The Words of Mathematics, An Etymological Dictionary of Mathematical Terms Used in English, page 48, Mathematics Association of America, ISBN 0-88385-511-9.